The greatest sadness in Denzel Washington's life was not the difficult days of his youth, nor the failures in his career, but the death of his mother, Lennis, in 2021. His mother, the woman who sacrificed her whole life to raise him, was the greatest source of motivation in his journey. She was not only a mother, but also a friend, a mentor, a person who always believed in her son's talent, even when he doubted himself. When she passed away at the age of 97, after a long battle with illness, Denzel was at the height of his career, having just finished filming The Tragedy of Macbeth. He received the news from his sister through a short phone call and immediately flew back to New York. When he arrived, he found only his mother's lifeless body in the familiar room where she used to sit and tell him stories. Denzel knelt by the bed, held her thin hand, and cried like a child. He blamed himself for not being there for his mother more, for letting the busy schedules of Hollywood rob him of his last precious moments with her. The pain of losing his mother was not only a personal loss, but also a mental shock that made Denzel look back on his entire life. He once shared in a rare interview that his mother was the one who taught him how to live with compassion and humility. After the funeral, he returned to his old house in Mount Vernon, walked into the living room where his mother used to sit knitting, and looked at the empty chair where she often sat. He cried alone, feeling as if a part of his soul had left with her. That sadness never left him. Months later, when he stood on stage to receive an award, or when filming scenes that required deep emotions, he often closed his eyes, imagining his mother somewhere, smiling at him. For Denzel Washington, losing his mother was the greatest pain, a wound that he carried with him all his life, like a shadow quietly walking beside his brilliant successes. Denzel Washington's career has been a long and tumultuous journey, where he has touched the heights of glory and the depths of failure. He began his professional acting career after graduating from Fordham University with a degree in journalism in 1977. Initially, he did not intend to become an actor. He worked at a post office and dreamed of a stable life. But a chance audition at the University Theater changed everything. With his natural talent and dedication, he quickly gained attention through his role in the play The Emperor Jones. In 1981, he made his big-screen debut in the film Carbon Copy, but the role that really put him on the map was Dr. Philip Chandler in the television series Saint Elsewhere, 1982 to 1988. This role not only brought him recognition, but also paved the way for him to enter Hollywood. His first big-screen success came in 1989 with his role as Private Trip in Glory. This role not only won him his first Oscar, Best Supporting Actor, but also established him as one of the greatest black actors of all time. The 1990s and 2000s were Denzel's golden years. He continued to make his mark with films like Malcolm X, 1992, The Hurricane, 1999, and culminating in Training Day, 2001, where he transformed into the complex police officer Alonzo Harris and won his second Oscar, Best Actor. Audiences and critics called him the Titan of Hollywood, a title he both felt proud of and felt pressured by. This success did not come easily. Before becoming famous, Denzel faced countless difficulties. When he first started, he was often rejected in auditions because of his skin color and his too strong acting style. A director once told him bluntly that he was not handsome enough to be a star. The comment hurt, but instead of giving up, he practiced relentlessly. He spent hours in front of the mirror, studying every expression, every gesture, perfecting his craft. One time, when preparing for the role of Malcolm X, he stayed up all night reading books and reviewing the historical figures' speeches. When he finished filming an emotional scene, he sat alone in a corner of the set, tears streaming down his cheeks, not because he was exhausted, but because he felt like he had touched a part of Malcolm's soul. Despite his many successes, Denzel's career has not been without its failures. His Virtuosity, 1995, was poorly received by audiences, and he once admitted that he had chosen the wrong script. In 2006, Déjà Vu, although a commercial success, was criticized by critics for lacking depth. He sat alone in his living room, reviewing the negative reviews, and wondered if he could still pick the right roles. That night, he cried silently, feeling like the whole world was doubting his talent. But Denzel is not one to give up easily. He came back strong with Fences, 2016, which he both starred in and directed, and this film earned him another Oscar nomination. He worked tirelessly, always trying to outdo himself, and each failure only made him more determined. His efforts did not stop at acting. He also tried his hand at directing and producing, always looking to leave his mark on the film industry. There were days when he worked 18 hours on set, from directing actors to editing the script. Once, when he finished The Equalizer, 2014, he sat alone in the editing room, reviewing the final scene, and cried with happiness, because he felt like he had created a work to be proud of. At the age of 70, he still works tirelessly, still immersing himself in each role with all his passion. For Denzel Washington, acting is not just a career, but a way for him to face life, a place where he sends his sadness and hope. Denzel Washington is not a man who chases fame or money. For him, the greatest achievement lies not in awards or box office revenue, but in the ability to use art to inspire and change the way audiences see things. Since he was young, he dreamed of creating roles that transcend the boundaries of time, so that viewers do not just see a character, but see their own lives through each line, each look. The role of Malcolm X is one of the achievements he is most proud of, not only because it is historical, but because it has helped millions of people understand the fight for justice. He once said in a speech, "I don't act to be praised. I act to show others what they can do with their lives." In addition to acting, Denzel also aspires to leave a legacy for the community. He regularly participates in charity activities, donating millions of dollars to educational organizations and supporting Black youth. In 2006, he was awarded the Humanitarian Award at the BET Awards, a recognition of his tireless work off-screen. But for him, the award was less important than the letters from students he helped, who said he inspired them to pursue their dreams. Once, a young man came up to him after a talk show and said his role in Remember the Titans had helped him through his difficult school days. He held the man's hand, his eyes red, and felt it was his greatest achievement. Another of Denzel's aspirations is to be true to himself. After years of living under the pressure of fame, he learned to appreciate simple moments: morning coffee with his wife, conversations with his children. At 70, he's still working, but he also takes time to reflect on life. For him, his greatest achievement is not what he achieved on screen, but his ability to maintain his faith, love for his family, and passion for art, despite the sadness that life has brought him. Denzel Washington's love and marriage is a long story with both joy and challenges. He met Pauletta Pearson, an actress and singer, in 1977 on the set of the TV series Wilma. Pauletta was attracted to his sincerity and intelligence, and Denzel found in her a strong and warm woman. They quickly fell in love, but the relationship was not always smooth. Denzel once said that he proposed to Pauletta 3 times before she said yes, because she wanted to make sure he was serious. Finally, on June 25, 1983, they married in a simple ceremony at Denzel's father's church in Mount Vernon. The early years of their marriage brought him a peace he had never known. Pauletta was often by his side on set, and he once said that her smile was the biggest motivation for him to continue working. But the marriage, which lasted more than 40 years, was not without its ups and downs. The pressure of Denzel's career, the long trips, and the unwanted attention from the media caused them some stress. There were times when he worked so hard that he had little time for his family, and Pauletta had to take care of the children alone. Denzel once admitted in an interview that there were times when he felt he was not the best husband, and that was a sadness he carried with him. Once, after a big argument, he left the house and drove around Los Angeles alone all night, wondering if he was losing the most precious thing in his life. But Pauletta never left him. She was always the one who pulled him back, and he was grateful for that. For Denzel, the greatest sadness in his marriage was not the breakup, but the feeling that he had not given Pauletta everything she deserved. Children are an integral part of Denzel Washington's life, and he has always considered them his greatest source of motivation besides his career. He and Pauletta have 4 children: John David Washington, born 1984, Katia Washington, born 1986, and twins Malcolm Washington and Olivia Washington, born 1991. John David, the eldest son, initially pursued a football career before turning to acting, and he made an impression with his leading role in BlacKkKlansman, 2018. Denzel once said that he cried when he saw John David on screen, not just because of pride, but because he felt like he was continuing his legacy. Katia, the second daughter, chose to work behind the camera, becoming a producer with projects like Fences. Denzel often says that Katia's intelligence and determination remind him of